Well, we are here in the Mortal Machine Gallery podcast studio. I'm Chris Trew. That's Gabe Shaffer. And we have a special guest with us, a fellow French Quarter resident, a fellow French Quarter business owner, and a fellow gallery owner. Kyla, tell the good people where you do your thing.
My name is Kyla Bernberg, and I'm the owner of 812 Royal Gallery. We're on 812 Royal Street.
Yeah. Just a block away from Mortal Machine. I met you during the Scope Week, Miami Art Week, where we cranked out a ton of podcast episodes. Check the archives. But y'all have been neighbors for a long time.
How long?
I actually thought about the moment you were one of the first people I came in when I first opened. I was like, "Hey, I just opened," and you were like, "Congratulations!" So we haven't been neighbors for that long,
Like a little over a year, yeah?
a year and a half.
That's what it sounds like,
opened
yeah.
the gallery, yeah.
Well, to me, it feels like 812 is been there forever. I mean, I know that's
She's already done more in a year and a half than most of the rest of them have done in like 5 to 8 years.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a labor of love, and my passion for art is very deep. So even though the business might be new.
Yeah. Well, I want to get into the evolution of 812 Royal and what keeps you doing it today. But I also wanted to talk about a very special book that me and you have both read. This man has not read the book.
I've lived it, baby.
But he's lived it. He says he's lived it, but he hasn't read the book. Do you know about this dude? I had the book holding my microphone.
I've heard about this book.
Okay.
I've had numerous friends have been like, "Oh, you gotta read it."
This book rules. This book is so good. And I gotta say, the very first, I started picking up shifts every now and then at the gallery. My main job for Mortal is doing the podcast and doing some real stuff on Instagram. But I pick up shifts every now and then. After my very first shift, Gabe, I went down to Faulkner House Books here in the French Quarter. And I was like, I'm treating myself. And this book was jumping out at me. And I bought this book. So this is the first thing I purchased with art gallery money.
I love that.
Was a book about a guy who stole a bunch of art from art galleries.
So on brand.
Yeah. So it's this is like a quasi book club edition of Mortal Machine podcast, because I think this book is so fascinating. How long ago did you read it, Kyla?
So funny enough, the place I used to work was Windsor Fine Art, and that book was the first book that I read working there because a client gave it to me.
So someone who bought art from the gallery you worked at,
a lot of art,
gave you a book about stealing art.
Mm-hmm.
Did it make you feel a certain way?
I read it really fast, and I don't normally read books really fast.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
Yeah. So Gabe, what do you know about this book? What do you know about this guy?
Nothing other than it's been recommended to me quite a bit. Yeah, this is actually the first time I've heard about that book in a chunk of months, but because it's been out for a couple of years. Yeah,
it has been, but it's got a recent resurgence. I'm not quite sure why, but it's making the rounds again.
Okay. Yeah, I know that it's been recommended to me a few times, but when you made mention of it being a part of this conversation, I was like, okay, cool. I've heard and I'm interested.
Yeah. So basically, this dude is such a big fan of art, and please chime in and clean up my messes here, Kyla, because you read it recently as well, or semi-recently, right? You read it
3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this guy is so obsessed with art. He's such an appreciator of it that he doesn't feel like it should be in private collections. And so he is like freeing them from that, but he's also storing them in his own private collection, and but it's in the attic of his mom's house because he doesn't make enough money to pay rent to own his own place. So he has his secret attic room.
Is this a true story? Or?
It's a true story. It's a very true story.
Okay.
And there are some lines in here that there's some sections that I wanted to tell Gabe about and get his opinion of them. But so far that tracks, right? What else would you throw in here as far as the general, this is what this book is about?
I think it's about obsession and like, it almost feels like an addiction to him, you know, it's like when he walks into a space, especially like a confined space, like a museum or something that is like, you know, one of those things, trying to think of the word, but I can't think of it, but it's like immediately his mind kind of goes to like, okay, like there's a camera here, blah, blah, blah. So it's more of like, I feel like it's an obsession and love and like needing to possess more so than like liberation. Like, I think it's more so he might justify it like liberation and blah, 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 but really it's more like,
Yeah, that's that tracks, and I think it's like elements of like Ocean's 11, like heist movie vibes, but it's also about a man with an obsession, Gabe, what are you obsessed with lately? Quick little sidebar. What are you obsessed with lately?
Writing.
That's right. You've been
Yeah.
writing a lot.
Yeah,
Graphic
I've
novel
been
time.
obsessed with this world that I've been kind of hanging out in a little bit every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then financials.
You're obsessed with financials?
I've just started to become obsessed with it, like a deeper tissue of massage, because I have a bookkeeper and a CPA that, you know, I've been communicating with for the last like month and a half, and we've just been getting like deeper and deeper into the grooves of kind of analyzing and setting things up and going through all the data over the last like chunks of years, you know, to get a good picture of Mortal, like statistically, in a way that I wasn't able to really view it before.
Cool.
So that stuff's kind of making me weird and obsessive. I'm going to bed early because of it.
You're going to bed early?
Yeah, I'm like,
wow,
okay.
Used to be obsessed with sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and now it's bookkeepers and
I'll give doorways for that a few times a year, but it's just like, it's not as recreational as it used to be. It's going to be way more like, you know, ritual. Like, yeah, it'll be certain times a year. I mean, this summer I have a little box in there that I'm saving all our excess like 1s and 5s.
Okay.
Because I know at some point in August or September, I'm just going to let myself have a late night. So I do plan on
You're talking about tipping street musicians, right?
Sure.
Okay.
And if that's what you want to call that. And I'll allow a few werewolf nights because I have to.
Okay.
But I think it's like, I'm going to leave them for full moons.
Sure. Kyla, what about you? What are you obsessed with these days? Because our guy in this book, obsessed with art. Maybe you're also obsessed with art.
I'm definitely obsessed with art.
Yeah.
I guess also numbers, and like there's definitely a fiscal aspect too.
Okay. You guys both have keys to galleries in the French Quarter. You're both obsessed with numbers as we enter the summertime.
I think if you want to be successful, you better understand it.
For sure. Yeah. I'm not judging. The
devil's in those details if you don't see them.
I think I'm also kind of obsessed with like just like curation and like doing stuff the way that like I want and I envision it and I love, and like allowing that, like it's always been for me like kind of like a deeper meaning and like a deeper kind of like, or just like super simple, but it's like, you know, I see a lot of stuff that I don't like and then I see stuff I love, and I just like to have stuff I love around me, and it feels like so beautiful, whether it's like my home, gallery, whatever it may be, my outfits. Like, it's just about like honing in on that kind of vision.
Well, you guys had great answers. Lately, I've been obsessed with chicken curry.
Yum.
Yeah.
Like, what kind?
I don't want to get into it. It's I don't want to ruin the party. I don't want to ruin the numbers party here. Okay.
But like Thai coconut.
Yeah, actually, it makes me uncomfortable talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about it when the camera's off.
Okay. Looking forward to that conversation.
Okay, so back to this book. This guy is obsessed with art. He's figuring out ways to steal stuff, and he's keeping it locked in his attic. Gabe, that's crazy. Like, would you steal? Like, he's not reselling it. He's not like he's not taking it. What do you think the average art thief does? They go and sell it. I think that's what was covered in the book quite a bit. It was like they kept trying to trace him by going to places where you would normally go sell the art in black markets, and they couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that there's like a lot of different types of art thieves. So if we're talking specifically about like people that steal artworks that either are fencing them or are like selling them or obsessively stashing them away. I think the first thing that I think of is when they stole the art, had the artist already been paid for the work if it's in a private collection. So the first thing is that if it's coming from a private collection, it's not necessarily directly damaging the artists themselves because they already receive the benefit of the sales. So it's not actually stealing from the artists. It's stealing from someone's collection. So then I have to ask myself, was it some fuckface Epstein class billionaire millionaire they were stolen from? I'm kind of okay with that.
Ooh.
And I don't really care what they do with the art afterwards. If they were to sell it on the market, that means it's going to someone else's collection, and maybe it'll go to somebody that can care for it better. Or maybe they're just shifting it from one millionaire asshole to another. Either way, the thief is benefiting, and I always think crime's kind of important in art. And then, because really the nature of art is criminal on a certain level anyways. Like the choice to be an artist is, I've had people that say it's political, and I always say it's actually, I think it's more criminal than political, but it's like a good crime. Because I think there are good crimes. But, so if it's just coming from, a position of someone that's wealthy that's being stolen from, so what? The artist has already received the benefit.
What you got, Kayla?
It's also interesting thinking about like the institution's role in art and like how the institution can like almost destroy the very essence of art all the time, and how in a way that is kind of liberating. But I also think that like in a way, when they're in public collections, it's nice to have like people be able to view art or access art.
Yeah, I would not include museums in what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like private collections. Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting. You two as people who own galleries and who are also fans of art and you care about it. It's interesting encountering stories like this because in some ways it's like, oh, this guy is a badass and blah, blah, blah. I know he has his problems. I'm not glorifying the entire story here. But, and then you hear things about, like, I'm obsessed with Marfa. We did a whole series of podcasts in Marfa, and Marfa's whole thing is like art should be permanent and it should be like outside. But these are all things that are like, I don't want to say they're anti-gallery, but it's like, how do you two grapple with this movement of art being in new and weird and interesting spaces, i.e. not always in galleries? Are y'all like, no, art should always be in galleries, or like, what's your take?
I mean, art's for everyone, and I think there's like, it's like a language. So there's like a time and a place for all of it, and I appreciate all different forms of art, whether it's public sculpture or graffiti or whatever it may be. It's like not anything I'm against.
Sure.
Yeah.
The most open-minded.
Yeah, I mean, some people can call stuff art and it's not art to me.
Okay.
Also.
Can we get an example? What's something that most people would say is art that you would not consider art?
Like tasteless art.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Or like highly like hyper intellectual art that is like more about like people hearing themselves talk.
Ooh.
Rather than like the feelings that like maybe a painting evokes or something.
Okay, I like it. How about you, Gabe?
Yeah, I agree with both those things that she said. I don't really think that there should be a limitation to the different experiences that we have with art. So whether it's indoors, outdoors, in a gallery, in a museum, out in public, illegal, legal. I think the more the merrier. I am definitely also viscerally offended by bad art, and the more that I see it, the more inwardly I am offended by it, and I hope it doesn't make me sick in the long run because I hold it all in. I don't really
Here lies
talk
Gabe.
about it as openly.
He saw a bad piece of art.
Yeah. Well, I used to be a lot more open about it. Now I don't really talk. I don't say it, because there's enough situations where like I have to judge when I'm interacting with, like if it's with an artist, I'm interacting with an artist and it's somebody that's like looking for some, like today there was like 2 or 3 people that came in. Now they're getting smart. They're not submitting, but they're asking for advice. And so I'll give like one like answer to one question now is what I'll do. And so there was like 2 of them a day or something like that I did that with. And if I do see, I don't really like to see work in front of artists now. I don't want them reading any of my body language at all. But like, if I do, it's almost now like I try to like set myself to kind of be as neutral as possible so that they don't have any kind of reading, because I don't want to like affect that person's trajectory in terms of them engaging with creativity in their life. Because I think that even if you make bad art, it's good for your mental health.
100%.
So I think that's the whole thing is like, there should be the same way that we already understand who are professional athletes, there should be an understanding of what is professional art versus recreational and weekend warrior and all that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, this same problem happens in my domain of comedy too, where it's like, someone does a couple of open mics or they do one show a month and then they're like, their bio changes to like touring comedian because they did a show in Metairie and a show in Baton Rouge. So now they're on tour, it's like, well, you do get to do the art. You do get to call yourself a comedian, I think, but how are we differentiating the weekend warrior from the professional?
Usually numbers on the boards help.
Numbers on the boards help. How would you say it, Kyla?
I can't even think right now. I'm just thinking that like that is the most heartbreaking or like hardest part of, not the hardest part about my job, but a very hard aspect of my job is having to send back art to artists that I didn't sell, or, either also having to reject artists and all these things, because like, I think also one thing Gabe and I have in common is like, we're both artists, probably very different artists, but being an artist and not just being like a business person or something like that kind of gives insight into like the trade and the level of emotions. And also like, I don't know if this is more personal, but like the feeling of rejection, like artists get rejected. Like you have to get used to being rejected all the time, like to be an artist. And that was such a harsh feeling to deal with. So I don't even remember the question.
Yeah, well, I think that's so important to cultivate that sense of like of how of being okay with rejection. It's like I know I have a lot of actor friends. I know I was doing the acting game for a while there, and what I was always told was get out there and get your first 100 no's. So then it becomes like, okay, I got to get it told no 100 times before I can even expect a maybe. So then it's like, it's a numbers game. So like go on 100 auditions as opposed to, I say a similar thing to people who are starting comedy where it's like, no one show can be a referendum on whether or not you should keep doing this. That's the same thing I'm assuming for submitting your art is that you can't be like, I'm going to have my art at Mortal Machine. That's my goal. That's all I care about. And then they email you and you don't email back or whatever the thing is. And they can't be like, well, that was my one shot. It's like, no, there's hundreds of ways to do this.
And also I feel like it's like doing it for the sake of doing it in a sense that like, of course, you want to make money from it. You want to be seen in your industry or whatever. But I think it's also like, no one's no is going to make you stop.
Right.
It should. Yeah. If anything, it should just make you crazier.
No one's no should make you stop.
Yeah. 100%.
We like it.
Yeah, I agree
rejection is the universe's redirection.
Oh my God, she's not stopping.
Let's go.
She's cranking out. Give me one more. Give me one more throw pillow.
That's all I got.
One more throw pillow. No, whatever you say next, I'm putting it on a throw pillow.
No.
Just no? Mm-mm.
Compartmentalization of empathy is complicated.
Okay. On a throw pillow.
Yeah.
All right. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think that's...
Where's the comma?
I don't know. I'll have to... I'll write it out and then I'll let the computer tell me where.
Yeah. I'm also putting where's the comma on a throw pillow. By the way, that's going to be your holiday present.
I have one.
Okay.
Find something you love to do and do it tirelessly for the rest of your life.
No.
Hey, okay.
That's my fave.
I like it. All right, Gabe, a part of this book I want to read to you. This dude
is triggering.
This dude, what, reading a book to you?
No, let's go. Art thief.
This dude said that he wanted to put the stolen art near his bed.
Oh.
So for when a partner is there and the timing is right. So this dude was like horny for messing around with his partner around stolen art specifically. How do you feel about that?
I'm triggered. Yeah,
You're triggered?
Yeah, I was having a memory. Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's a different episode.
Probably, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah. I
Um,
remember having a room full of allegedly, theoretically stolen art. That the only thing I had was my bed, and everything was all the art.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's triggering.
Yeah,
I get it.
it's no longer stolen.
Yeah,
That moment it was allegedly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kyla, have you ever stolen anything in your life that you feel comfortable talking about right now?
Next question.
No, we can talk about petty theft.
Yeah, I got no problem talking about that.
Yeah, I know you don't. I'm talking to our guest right now, Gabe.
Oh yeah, does this make you uncomfortable talking about crime?
It's not very on brand for me.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, I've never stolen anything serious. I mean, when you were a kid, it's like I stole a candy bar that I felt like a piece of shit for like 3 years.
You felt bad about it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
You didn't?
No. When I stole from like stores when I was a kid, I mean, I finally got caught like trying to steal Mega Man. It was just before Christmas. It was just before the Sega Genesis was being released, so my parents were pissed. But I think up until that point, I had a habit of stealing things. Yeah.
Well, what do we do when we suspect someone is like up to no good? Like, again, you guys own galleries. Like, what's like that's
what's up to no good?
I think we have to bring up the art thief was roaming around Royal this year.
Oh, that's an example of an art thief.
Like, that's not a great.
That's not a fun art thief.
I was kind of like skeptical about like glorifying this because you know, like you said, it can be harmful to the artists, the business owners, the like, you know, perception of, you know, I love to be like very welcoming and such. And when this kind of anxiety is floating around, like that's not a great energy to like have someone walk in the gallery and maybe like,
and you'd be like skeptical
or like just like keeping an eye on them, you know, like I think that like obviously it's a business and I want to keep my eye out, but like I think that's a kind of situation where it was kind of like.
Yeah, but I knew him too. He was also involved in that situation I was involved in. The wild thing about that particular character,
Mega Man?
the person, no. That would have been weird. But it's still weird. I mean, he was actually at one point in time a gallery director, and for the space that was at one point in time underneath of us on the ground floor.
Oh.
Yes. So he started there, but then he also had some really bad drug habits, and those things just kind of like drew him deeper and deeper into the cycles that the quarter will sometimes whip people in once the gravity takes them. And he just sort of over time, like, I think he actually worked after all the fallout from there, because I dealt with him through that situation, got rid of him. Then he actually also lived inside this building. They removed him forcibly, finally. But what I had heard, though, when he finally bottomed out before we all recently saw him, was he would have like paintings he had stolen that he would like tie around a necklace, and he would like wear paintings on Lower Decatur around his like neck and try to sell people the paintings on the street when he was like fully bottomed out. So he's like, he's like a French Quarter zombie art thief. You know, that's the way I would describe him. What?
Still bad.
Yeah, it's not a fun art thief. No, zombie art thieves we're not into. No, and we've been robbed like in different capacities over the years too. I've definitely experienced break-ins, and I've experienced, petty theft throughout the space a few times. And
what was the break-in?
The break-in was when we were at 840 Royal. We had this artist that created ceramic classic shoes. They were like Nikes and whatnot. And these shoes, if they existed in real life, would be valuable. Somebody wasted late night thought that they were the real shoes, the real Jordans and stuff. So they busted a window, got in, because there was all footage of it all from the outside and the inside. And it's really funny to watch, because as soon as they get in there and they go to pick up one of the shoes, they realize, because it's made of ceramic, that it's not a real shoe. and the whole conversation and confusion. So then they just sort of grabbed a few things that they could, like as far as off the walls and right there. They made like 2 trips, and then they just like took off because they grabbed as much as they could try to do in 2 trips. That sucked. But that was like July when we were down there. That was a few years ago. Yeah, yeah. That kind of stuff sucks. Yeah, yeah. But then once again, I think that we're talking about like multiple, like everything's very relevant to whatever circumstance. So this is what I would say is like the bad kind of art thievery that we're talking about right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but also there's something so frustrating and disappointing with when it comes to someone stealing something that somebody made. I mean, all stealing is questionable, obviously, blah blah blah. But it's like, stealing a candy bar from a chain grocery store doesn't have the same effect as stealing a painting that someone made.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's something so like helpless and just gross about doing that, because like
Yeah.
I guess I'm not an artist, and I'm not that kind of artist, at least, and I can't imagine how that would feel, like that someone did a bad thing to take something that I made and I have no control over it. It's just somewhere else right now.
Sometimes it's cool
It feels bad
in certain circumstances. I had a painting stolen from the Outsider Art Fair when I showed in it. That was like 2009 or 10 or one of those 8, somewhere around there. A painting was stolen out of, I believe, storage. And so
Which art fair?
Outsider Art Fair. Yeah.
Oh, outside
In New York. Yeah. This is when they were in a different venue. But see, the thing about it is that the artists get paid if the stuff gets stolen from a gallery. So the gallery actually is who takes the hardest hit out of that, because we have to pay out the artist for the stolen artwork, and then we're also taking the hit for what we would have made off that piece too. So we're kind of like screwed doubly by that. If you're a gallery that takes responsibility for taking care of your artists, because you're not going to make them take that hit. If it's stolen, you owe those artists that money.
Yeah, I remember at Scope, I was really impressed. Maybe this is obvious. It was my first time being in an art event of that caliber, but the steps, like the steps to like signing in the art in and out in like the storage room, and like the process, like people checking the art on the way out. I was like, oh, 0 things are getting stolen from like this dude would not have succeeded at Scope, I don't think.
That's the hopes. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. So let's get into a little bit more about A12 Royal, what you're doing over there. How would you describe, like, elevator pitch? How would you describe to someone what you're doing down at A12 Royal?
I'm pretty much just curating art that I love, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that there's definitely like a vibe going on, but I think that I don't know a better way to describe it other than.
Yeah, and how long has it been open now?
We opened February 1st, 2025.
Okay. A year and a half.
Yep.
Ish. What have you? What have been some of like the biggest lessons you've learned since then?
Trust your gut. Always trust your intuition. You can't people please. It's not about pleasing people. Relationships are everything, and building strong ones with your artist and clients is like and even team will continue to like float the boat. And just don't be afraid. Like, I think that like the biggest lesson throughout everything is like just go for it, and just like if you follow those steps, then you don't have to be afraid.
It sounds like I mean, that could apply to like opening up a restaurant, starting a new relationship, opening up an art gallery. That's good advice across the board. I like it. Don't people please. Well, that's hard. I have a hard.
It took me a while to learn, but then I started enjoying it. Yeah.
People managing is the hardest.
Yeah,
for sure.
I really just
like your employees or the clients,
everybody.
Everyone. Yeah. If I could, I would just be like the puppeteer, but I can't.
You'll be there. You'll get there.
Hopefully,
you're on your way. You're still only. Yeah, you're getting. I have belief.
I mean, but I also like do everything. Like, I'm so sensitive, so I feel like maybe I wish there's been like certain situations with people that like really hurt me. And it like, like I'll be up late, not sleeping because I'm like thinking about this thing. And I just wish like that's really something I need to work on is like separating work and life. And I don't think I ever will, but I just mean like I don't
Yeah.
you're a little like insensitive, right?
Well, no, I learned compartmentalization. First of all, I'm a
With
Gemini.
empathy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. With empathy and with, thank you. Yeah, with empathy and with like, I think time. And I was very self-harming without knowing I was being self-harming with my obsessions. And it was Elsa that was the first person I think that really broke through and starting to teach me, because I think that like
Elsa, who
after,
was gallery manager at
yeah, now
Mortal
gallery manager for Locker Room in New York, that is our girlfriend in the art world, is what we refer to Locker Room as. But she taught me some really needed things, and somehow it's weird, because like you'll sort of know that you're that way, but it's almost like you'll meet people that will be able to code you. And she was able to do that for a couple of things. She taught me how that, first of all, like that one of the most valuable things that I have to give to somebody is my empathy and is my emotional like content. And so, and it's also one of the most valuable things to me and to my health as well, and my personal well-being. So I have to look at it as like the thing that is one of my most powerful assets is also one of my most precious cargoes. So therefore, I'm not actually able to perform at my highest level for people when I do give it to them if I'm running myself ragged with it. And I also think that I was like really, and not like in a soft internet kind of way traumatized, but like when all that shit happened with Red Truck, when I was constructing Mortal and we were in our first few years, it was not just about the survival element. It was also about like, I felt like I had to be available at all times. I had to prove to everybody that I actually was worth the trust that they were giving me when all that difficult shit was going on. So, I think that what it made me feel like if I wasn't giving them everything, then I somehow was like the thing that all the people that were not with me were saying about me. But Elsa broke that for me. She taught me about that. She taught me about like self-care. And self-care I think was like one of the first major lessons. And I think the more you are attuned to these like self-care rituals, the easier it starts to get when you do engage in things. And I find that I actually am performing better and better now, the more I am actually guarded and aware. I hope I don't become completely insensitive, but I don't think I would be good at the art shit if I was completely insensitive.
I didn't mean to
Yeah.
say it
No,
sensitive.
it's real.
But I
Yeah.
think that like someone once told me that to be sensitive is to be sensible. And I think that like when you have that sensitivity, it's important to put up walls or like
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the walking through life without being sensitive seems like you might get yourself in, you might be causing more harm than good. But I also think compartmentalization is like clutch,
Yeah.
and I feel like you can't get that until you had X number of years in the game. I think that's the hardest thing, is to learn compartmentalization
Yeah.
and to stop people pleasing and to do self-care. What are some of y'all's go-to self-care routines as gallery owners specifically?
I work out, I make art,
Yeah.
I eat nutritious food,
Mm-hmm.
I spend time with people I love.
The simple
Like
stuff.
really simple.
That's not
I
like,
I
yeah,
go outside,
yeah,
touch grass.
yes.
Yeah.
It's crazy that that is like a borderline hot take. That like self-care is actually like can be that simple. But I think we all know that it
Yeah.
is. You don't have to have a red light therapy machine and cold plunge. Although I do love those things, but you don't have to have those things. Self-care is just going outside, it's taking a walk. What
Yeah.
about you, Gabe?
Yeah. Gym obviously is huge. I go to St. Louis Cathedral twice a week. And I'm not like, I'm not I don't know if every time I say that, I always think people think I'm a Jesus freak. I think I'm way weirder than that. But there's something about St. Louis Cathedral. It's just and I've talked with people that practice witchcraft, like witches go in there to get holy water and stuff. So it's actually like anybody that's interested in magic knows that building's special. And there's something about sitting there and just kind of allowing myself a moment to sort of listen. And I usually go there after the gym. I like
nice and sweaty.
Yes. I always go straight to the church after the gym.
Yeah.
Are people in there?
Sometimes, yeah, but it's mostly tourists.
Yeah.
And then
You
there
ever
are
do
folks that go to-
push-ups inside the church?
No. I'm usually pretty worn out by the time I get there. No, but I also get the holy water from the because they have a cooler towards the front that they keep holy water in that you're allowed to draw from and to like for people to take home for their altars and stuff. And so I usually will bathe in St. Louis Cathedral holy water at least once a week. That's one of my self-care things.
Cool.
And like a really nice hot bath, and there'll be at least like a bottle of St. Louis Cathedral holy water poured into it too. Painting, writing.
Yeah.
My dogs, wrestling.
Yeah, pro wrestling,
Yeah.
self-care.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Wait, what were you going to say?
I will say, like, I think magic plays a role in, like, a lot of quarter businesses, but also I think that there's kind of like, I truly believe in magic. I believe in numbers. So what happened with 812 Royal Gallery was I put in my 2 weeks at Windsor because this person came along that I was like, we can't vibe, and I understand that, and I have to go. So I put in my 2 weeks, and then I looked for jobs, was not planning on opening a gallery, just randomly looked up, like, right before going to bed, retail spaces, commercial spaces on Royal, and 812 is my mom's birthday, August 12th.
Oh my God.
Cool.
And my mom is no longer with us. So it was like a divine, like, okay, like, God is, like, this is divine.
Signs.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I love that.
And there's a lot of magic. Like, I think that, like, energy comes in. I mean, we're in 1830. My building's 1832, I think. So there's, like, really old buildings and, so I think magic, like, or cleansing and inviting in messages and feeling all these things plays a huge role in the space. Like, even in my gallery, I'll rehang the whole gallery just to refresh it, not for viewers, for us, like, because we need to, like, it's so energetic. Everything about the business for me is like energy.
That's so cool. I love that. And I feel like the ways that we are, like, as a society, like, it seems like we're more open to that type of thinking lately. I just feel like 20 years ago, it was like people would roll their eyes. You talk about like the energy of a space and, but I feel like we're all coming around or maybe it's just the people that I'm hanging out with. I don't know, but I feel
and it's cyclical. Post World War I, everybody was into spiritualism. So it's seances were one of the most popular things for people to participate in at that time, the average person. So
or bringing seances back.
It's cyclical. Yeah. And this city has a history of being next to Salem, arguably the most like magic bent city, except the difference is that we have the influence of folk medicine here is way stronger than Salem. This is ceremonial magic and folk magic exist here.
And it's like Caribbean.
So deep. Yeah.
Well, I think you two and what you're doing in the French Quarter is a big part of that magic. You're both operating spaces that are showing people who visit New Orleans that, there's good locally curated art. There's people who live in the Quarter, who own businesses in the Quarter that are not, soap shops and, places to get massaged. No offense. But it's like more, it's more feeding into the spirit of the city. So I think it's really cool that y'all both do what you do. And I know some days it's hard or frustrating or whatever. But it's so cool that y'all do what you do. It's so cool. I hope you feel that way.
Well, it's cool what you do.
Hey,
makes people
stop.
smile. That's so important.
Yeah, it's important too, but you know, it's different. It's different. Yeah, I think what I do is important too, but I just you know, people.
It's contagious.
It can be.
Yeah.
But like y'all are actively like y'all are two very big reasons why people care about Royal Street. You know, it's like people walk up and down Royal Street to look at cool shit. You know, and I think that's just really sweet. It's really sweet. And y'all both live in the quarter. We all live within like a block and a half of each other. Come on.
Neighbors.
It don't get sweeter than that, y'all.
It's pretty sick.
It's pretty sick.
And it's not always sweet. That's the thing. It's sometimes very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You mean as a resident of the quarter, as a business owner, or all the above?
All of the above.
All of the above.
I've always said New Orleans is tragic and magic.
Big time.
And it's like
throw a pillow.
You know. So
yeah. I like that.
Tragic
and
you gotta know
magic.
one to know the other sometimes.
Yeah, she makes you work for it.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's close out this episode. I think we came to a conclusion on our art thief friend here. You know, it's like the book is great. It's tough. It's tough to like celebrate what he did, but the story is super compelling. I also read this book very quickly. Story is super compelling. Anyone who's obsessed with anything to this extent, I'm interested in. And, you know, we all care about
obsession
art,
is key.
Obsession is key.
Yeah.
Like one of the things, it's like I appreciate his mind because he would go into any space and be like, how am I going to do this? And I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And I think that that's cool. I don't think it's cool to steal, but I think it's cool to have will and determination. And do it.
I like it.
I agree with all that. I think it's cool to steal from rich people.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, she didn't say that. Gabe said that. We'll be very clear where everyone stands on this.
Robin Hood.
You're right. Sure. Kyla, plug the gallery one more time. Tell the people about the next event you have.
We are A12 Royal Gallery. The next event we have is June 26th. We're having a Southern group show. So it's artists from the South. 23
I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah.
Great. June 26th, you said?
Yep.
Great. That's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
Friday, June 26th. And we plugged it last week, Gabe, but tell the good people at home about the next show that we have at Mortal.
Next show is Spirit Vehicle. We're installing it next week. Opens Friday the 19th.
There we go.
That's right. Louis Briquette, Adrian Lee, and Polly Lingerfelt. Sculptor, 2 artists that are working in 2D works. Louis, very popular Gothic painter. We've already pre-sold a few of his things. Polly Lingerfelt, totally like local legend, tattoo artist, but also like really good folk artist. And Adrian Lee, I'm really excited to see his stuff. He's got, I misquoted last week about the material. It's actually ceramic that he's doing, these really crazy ceramic sculptures. I'm really excited to see them in person for the first time. So yeah, that opens next Friday.